County. Yeah, for attempted murder.
It seemed like an open and shut case, but as detectives re-examined the timeline and dug deeper into the digital evidence, they found themselves circling back to the one person nobody suspected, the victim.
I just honestly don't know what happened after that. Like, everything was just a blur to me.
You're leaving out a big portion of what took place over there.
Well, all I know is that we just got into a fight and started together.
Oh. Okay, we're going to be talking about law careers. This has to do with all different types of law subjects. There are so many fields when you consider the law field that you can go into, and I'm just going to go through those and tell you what jobs you can get from them. Okay, and of course I'm going to keep the soundtrack going. Okay, here we go. On the agenda, you have what's called public law, private law, international law, litigation law, and emerging law. That is a law fields that are growing. And basically, we'll just go through basically what industries and what avenues can be these law fields that you learn in can be used for. Okay, when it comes to laws, you can get many things. You can just, you can go to law school. Well, first you can go through legal studies and then get your law degrees, of course, to become an attorney, a licensed attorney. Or you could just study the legal fields and get your bachelor's in that legal field. And some people just get paralegal certificates, but your level of education will affect what jobs you can get. But you do not have to become a lawyer. Okay. Public law, which handles administrative law, constitutional law, criminal law, tax law, and immigration law. These are the most common laws that people know, especially criminal, immigration, and constitutional law. That's usually very public. Constitutional law is many things that go through the Supreme Court. Criminal law, of course, people that are in jail and arrested by cops or have issues with police involvement. Tax, of course, that's paying taxes. And currently right now, immigration law is a big thing. Okay, so administration and constitutional law, like I said, you don't necessarily have to become a lawyer. You can just get your bachelor's degree in this and you can become an analyst for it. You can actually work for a law firm and not actually be the actual attorney, but you could be the attorney's legal assistant who has a bachelor's degree. And this actually, in the long run, can help you to become an attorney because just working for a law office where you can learn. Criminal law, there are many types. You have the victim's law. That's where a crime was committed against somebody, and in this case, the person would need an attorney, but you could be the person that's working for the attorney, helping the victim in this case. I would say a bachelor's degree, well, you can be a victim's advocate on it. To be a prosecutor that's working for the government, and a defense attorney is a key word. You have to be an attorney, but that job will always be around. It's a very tough job, but a needed job. And then you also have the court liaison officer and a criminal justice analyst. Now, when I say get a law degree, I mean a degree in legal, learning about the law. Criminal justice, I guess you can go that, but I would tell people to learn legal. The difference between criminal justice and legal is understanding the law. Criminal justice just kind of talks about how the law is enforced and stuff like that, but legal studies should be where you review a law, break it down, and understand what the law means by the word, not by feelings or what usually happens. Taxes. Taxes. They say a paralegal can help be a person, not a tax attorney, but you can become a tax attorney as well. But you can just help people with their taxes, being a tax paralegal, which kind of would connect with an accounting as well. But you can learn the legal side to tax laws. And I would say one difference is, say if a person is behind on their taxes and making payment, or they have an issue to where they're about to be charged with tax fraud, that's where you can come in and your paralegal side to help them clear things up with the IRS. Immigration, of course, paralegal with a bachelor's degree in immigrations, there can be a lot of work. Not to say that it makes a lot of money, but you can just open up just helping people fill out the paperwork. And that's where something like an immigration paralegal can help with that. And it would help out a lot on that. Because like immigration is a big thing right now, and people need help in immigration. And I'm looking at the slide, there's a lot of typos in it. We're gonna let it go. yeah there's a lot of errors on this, but we're just gonna stick to the points here. Immigration is a big thing. I would say, especially like if you're in any border town near Mexico, I would say California, Southern California, Texas, I would say a lot of paralegals for immigration is needed. Or let me scroll back. If you just wanted to learn about immigration, I would say go to Texas or California and study down there. There's usually a lot of competition because it is a high thing, but you can learn it there and then go back to other places where it's not that many people there, so they'll be looking to hire people more. Okay, then you have environmental, health, and education law on this. Okay, so environmental, that's where companies are fined for environmental hazards, and that's where those companies will need a legal team that understands environmental law, but also the government and the state, they need not necessarily attorneys, but legal people to do the paperwork on it. As well as in healthcare, you have malpractice. That say someone is injured or due to malpractice. That's where health law comes in. Yes. Educational law is a little different. This is kind of like employment. It kind of leads into employment, but just within the educational system. So that's fairly minor, but it does exist. It's just rules that colleges must go by when granting doctorals, and like a college just can't make everybody doctors. There's certain rules they have to go by. And also we have to make sure that the educational college or a place is actually accredited for it. I do see this growing, especially with all the, well, they've actually calmed down on it, but when it was very popular for all the non-profit colleges, that's where educational law comes in, just to make sure that the colleges are in compliance with state regulations. Then you have private law, such as contract law. Contract law is very simple. It's about contracts, making sure that business contracts are done right. A big example of a business contract is like a loan contract, a contract that you have with a financer, such as like Chase Bank, financing your car. If you feel as though you were due, a contract legal person or attorney can look at that contract to see it's right. Many businesses have people that review contracts just to make sure that they, one, are in compliance with that contract, but two, the contract is within the legal standards of how it's written. That goes with tort law, property law, that's like real estate law, property law, family law, that's a big one, with divorce cases, child custody, employment law. If you feel as though that your employee has done you wrong, but it's also in the other case where the employee feels like their employee did them wrong. And then corporate law, which will always be needed. Usually these people work within the HR, but they're just in that subject field. And yeah, here we go. In contract law, you can get that just with a bachelor's degree. See where it says claims adjuster? That's where property law kind of flows into the insurance department. A lot of insurance companies hire people that have legal background. Like I have a legal background, so I actually work in insurance. That's what pulls me into this. So yeah, that's one good thing. Like, say if you know someone that has a legal degree and they're having trouble getting a job, tell them to go work in insurance, and the insurance company will take it from there. Unfortunately, family law will always be a big thing right now. Staying together is a hard thing, and just doing the right thing. And then plus abuse is on the rise, or it's just more talked about now. So this is needed. HR compliance on the jobs. That's another field that needed. And you just need bachelor's degrees with this. Some of these you probably be able to get with an associate's, but just a standard bachelor's degree in legal studies will suffice for these jobs. Not to say they pay a lot, but they are good jobs and will always be around. AI will never replace a family law paralegal. You will always need a person there. And as I was saying earlier, corporate law, to be like handle bankruptcies, you need to be an attorney, bank compliance, and the rest of this is mostly like you're working for an attorney. And that's what you see right here, where it's called case manager. A case manager works for an attorney. They're the ones handling the case, but the attorney's the one that's signing off. And like I said before, you can work for an attorney and then later on try to be an attorney yourself. Okay. Yep. And as I was talking about, insurance, consumer compliance, that's what the Better Bureau, Business Bureau, which is going to be growing because, like, do you know that Reese's does not have peanut butter in it? Reese's peanut butter cups do not have peanut butter in them. I'm done eating them. It's not even real peanut butter. That's horrible. Oh well. But that's where these people, consumer compliance investigators, that's where they come into play. And consumer protection. Okay, then we have international law. International law that falls under human rights treaties, like how Donald Trump is doing the tariffs. Yes, tariffs. So that's kind of where this law will come into play for it, and humanitarian roles and stuff. This is more so working with governments. Yep, and yeah, we just went into detail. And I would say, yeah, a bachelor's degree is a must in there. And to go international, I would say you would need to be an attorney just because of how competitive it is. Oh yeah, and a growing field of it. This is a growing field. Cyber law, things that could be done on the internet because it's growing so fast. And doxing is a growing thing. That's where people are online giving out people's address, but it's also if a person creates a fake account and uses your name and likeness pretending to be you, and contacting other people, maybe just to make them not like you, make it seem like you're a bad person, because anybody can take your images offline, especially like if you have like a Instagram account, they can take your picture, download them, put it on, they know your name if they kind of know you but they don't like you, and they can create an account and make it seem like you're online contacting people doing wild things on this. This is called doxing, and you can be seriously fined and actually go to jail for it. So that's where I say this is a growing thing, because people get into trolling and they think things are funny, but they really don't know what they're doing is against the law. Okay, and then this goes in a little bit more depth. You have your forensic investigators. That's where it's a little technology, but it's also some legal parts into that. The cyber forensics people, they can get into people's technology and find out what really occurred, but they must make sure that they're in compliant, and that's where the legal part of the background of the cyber comes into play. People know what you can do, can't do. Okay, how can we get access to this person's computer? That's where your job will come in, to get all the paperwork, to get it, make sure they're being compliant, whether they're the company or even the government itself. patent, trademarks, entertainment, such especially right now with entertainment, with the AI coming out, AI taking actors, actresses, singers, likeness, and sound and using it through the AI. That is illegal, and that will grow because that is copyright and trademark infringement as well. So people need to be careful of that. I see that growing in the future with AI. Industry specific law, maritime. That's for ships on the ocean, aviation, the airplanes. You will see a lot of this type of law with bankruptcy of Spirit. I'm sure it's a lot of legal cases because they got to get people paid. Sports team, food, restaurants, energy, utility companies, especially right now with the data centers, even art. Because people steal people's arts, they recreate. Maybe it's a great picture that was done. Someone will take a picture, recreate it, and sell it as that, and steal your likeness. So you need legal protection on that. And litigation, in civil, criminal, that type of law is a law that will be around. AI cannot replace this. It will always need to be a human doing this. Litigation, of course, if you've seen Law and Order, the criminal procedures, they have the actual attorney, but then you have all the people that's working with the attorney, and you'll have a person talking, making the final decision after all the evidence, and even the legal assistants will add information if the attorney talking like, oh, this is how I'm going to rule, but yes, you have to think about this and that gives you a job. Also with civil suits and stuff like that as well. You have your mediators or arbitrators, which is a job. Arbitration is a job that is heavily used in insurance. And emerging, we have bioethics. That's the use of people's DNA and medical information, which is data that is being sold right now. There's a big thing that's being sold is information on people, and that includes your biometrics. You also have elder law with, say if you have an aging parent and they develop Alzheimer's, so somebody needs to take over their property, such as a home, their bank accounts, because they just don't have the cognitive to do it. That's where elder law, they will decide who actually gets it. If it's somebody in the family or other people, then you have privacy, AI, and digital rights. And that's what we were talking about earlier with the copyright infringement. Yep, and that's that, just repeating. These slides did not come through as good as I wanted them to, but it's okay. And then this on the last one, just talking about your path. I would tell people, if you're trying to go into law, I would say go into like paralegal, but within the paralegal, make sure you finish on a path that specializes in different things. Or you can just go get your paralegal, bachelor's in paralegal, go find a job, and then through that job, you may have to go back just to get like a couple classes, such as to become a contract specialist or a policy coordinator. Or you can just work in the business, and a business be like, you know what, I would like to move up. Say if you work for a company that does contracts and you want to move up, they say, okay, we need you to learn more about contracts. Or the company itself say, don't worry about that, we'll teach you that part, you got the basics down, and we'll teach you the additional part through the job. A lot of companies will do that. They won't teach you the basics, but they'll teach you that little part of the field of it. In some cases, they'll pay for you to go learn more and then come back. But it is a good field. I would tell everybody to go into the legal field if you're going to college. Learning the legal field. Hold up. Yeah, I cut the sound because I really want to spit down. Learning the legal field, and it'll let you learn comprehensive. It's to be able to read something, understanding, and see what it means and accepting it. not changing, well, I feel as though this is wrong, I feel as though this is right. No, this is what the law says, and this is what it is. So this is what occurred, and this is what is going to happen. And that is the good thing about legal. Even if you do not go into a legal field, you develop an analytical mind. And that's what I think people need. Thank you.